you gonna do, fiat dollar? On CryptoBullGod and his crypto maniacs and the entire cryptocurrency market run wild on you.
Welcome in. I am the CryptoBullGod, and this is the recorded on Tuesday, airing on Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll see what I can do here. March 15th or 16th, 2022 CryptoBullGod podcast. You can find me on Twitter, Tradingview, YouTube, and Instagram at CryptoBullGod. You know the true sign of a really committed lifter? About 18 hours in advance of a leg day, you're already mentally preparing yourself for your rep set scheme. Like, I've already been thinking all afternoon, like, how many reps do I want to do? What sets do I want to do? What exercises do I want to do for legs tomorrow? You know, and have a goal in mind. Have a couple goals in mind in terms of what I want to do. Like, that is the mindset of a serious lifter. Again, I've been doing this. I would argue that the biggest passion of my life that I've demonstrated the greatest level of dedication to has been weight training since the age of 14. But, yeah, I can't wait to hit the gym tomorrow morning and get in there for leg day. Someone unfortunately scheduled a 8:30 meeting tomorrow. That's like of course that's Central Standard Time, so actually it's 9:30. I've gotten a little soft in my days. You know, there were days way back when I was going through actuarial exams that I was working essentially 2 full-time jobs, and in order to work out, I'd be at the gym before 5 a.m. I'd be at the gym literally at 4:30, between 4:30 and 5. So I'm a little spoiled now because if I have a meeting that starts anytime before 10 a.m., I'm a little salty about it. So, but I strategically do block the calendar to let people know that I'm unavailable at certain points during the day because that's just the way it is, and we need to have what's called life balance. But speaking of the gym, I was in the gym the other day, and there was a TV caption that popped up on about the NFL, and it said, "Where will Deshaun Watson land?" And I pulled my buddy aside, and I said, "Jail?" I said, "Jail?" Now, I believe in innocence until you're proven guilty, okay? But the butt of my joke was, what I was getting at is, for all those who follow sports and follow the NFL in general, isn't it interesting that the wide receiver who was caught gambling when he was out for the season and he was injured, he was caught gambling on his own team. He bet like $1,500 that his team would win. Isn't it interesting that he was suspended for the entire season coming up, but people who are accused of and proven guilty of battery, abusing their wives or significant other, they're suspended for a few games. So essentially what we're saying is, it's much better to slap a woman upside the head than it is to bet on sports, right? There's something morally wrong there. And don't get me wrong, it's in the player's handbook that you're not allowed to bet on sports. So this wide receiver who was suspended, I forget his name, he was an idiot for doing it. It was just being a kid. He was probably bored, he was at home, he was injured. He put $1,500 on the line on his own team, betting they would win. So it was stupidity on his part. But I think what I'm driving at here, and what's interesting is, I don't disagree that he should have been reprimanded in some way. But for him to be suspended for a year, and someone who slaps their wife upside the head to be suspended for a couple games, there's something messed up there. Speaking of, these are just some random thoughts that I had before we get into crypto. By the way, we will be getting into cryptocurrency. And if you appreciate the channel, I'd appreciate if you'd hit the thumbs up button, drop a comment, and subscribe, because all these things are going to help out the YouTube algorithm to spread this content throughout the community. So I really would appreciate that. You know, one of the things that has been brought up a few times on this channel, as well as Crypto Bros, check them out at Crypto Bros, me and my brother. We're going to be doing a new episode tomorrow. One of the things that has been brought up is about me doing or my brother and I doing a video podcast. You know, I think on the one hand, I want to make sure that my brother and I, are producing content that exceeds the expectations of those listening, the audience. And what I'm balancing right now, I'll be very honest with you, I think at some point once I'm a lot more regular on YouTube and I can kind of set my own schedule and kind of do this regularly on a weekly basis, however often, I have a feeling, yes, it will be video and you'll be seeing my smiling face a lot more. But I do really appreciate the times I can just do audio. I really do, and I don't have to be standing in front of this camera. There's just something about the appeal of just recording here and you don't know what the hell I look like right now. I could be standing here in my underwear. I could be dressed up in a winter coat. You don't know. There's just something about it that some element of privacy. But I do appreciate the feedback, and I think at some point doing some, or maybe just completely converting over to video will probably happen. It'll probably happen. The other thing I want to do, which I haven't done yet, get the podcast on more platforms, right? Get the podcast on more platforms. So all these things will come down the road, but I do appreciate the feedback. So something that has been on my mind recently, I just wanted to get everyone to think about as you're sort of moving forward, is I really want you to ask the question, how much time do you spend on social media? This is something I've really been thinking about. For someone like myself, or somebody who is a content creator, because that's really what I'm going after here, I'm trying to create my own brand, right? So I'm out here doing my own thing, trying to differentiate myself in some way and use these platforms to create a brand for myself. So for me to spend as much time on Twitter as I do, it does make sense, or YouTube. But if you're literally on social media and you're not selling anything, or you're not a brand ambassador, or have a market for yourself, you get what I'm getting at here, and just doing it for pleasure, it can literally be addicting and a waste of time. If you are waking up in the morning and the first thing you do is you go on Instagram, or you go on Twitter, or you go on TikTok, that's the first place you go. You find yourself in conversations and someone gets irritated with you because you pick up your phone in the middle of a conversation, you're going on social media, or at dinner, you're looking at social media. You really need to check yourself. I think all of us do, myself included, to make sure that you have enough personal space in your life to develop relationships. And the other thing that can come with social media that I just want to throw out there that's very important for people to keep track of is there are temptations out there. Look, it's very easy to go on Instagram. There are girls with their boobs hanging out, guys that are, what's the term? It's a thirst photo, or what, a thirst photos or thirst pictures. But that stuff, if you're looking at that more and more and more, a psychologist could tell you this, but it feeds into your outlook on things and the way you view things. And I just think that there's a lot of things out there you really need to guard yourself and protect yourself from, or even the hatred that exists on Twitter, especially during back in 2020, during the pandemic. There was a lot of hatred out there on Twitter. But just with a lot of the temptations that are out there, a lot of the bad stuff that's out there, I think at times in life people sort of can be walking a wire, walking a tightrope. People can be walking a tightrope. Maybe they're going through a challenging time in their life, and they can go down all sorts of different avenues with social media. And I just think you really need to be honest with yourself and guard yourself against different things. One of the things that, and then we'll switch topics here, but I just wanted to mention this. One of the things I brought up to the CryptoBullGod was I'd like to go on a vacation where we are not on our phones at all. So the idea would be your phone would be on airplane mode, and you could use it to take videos or photos to remember the trip, but you're not calling anyone, you're not texting anyone, and for the love of God, you're not on social media. You are completely disconnected from the world. I really don't think, especially for people who are addicted and don't know it, I really don't think that people realize just how much time they spend on social media and how much it can change the way they look at things and their frame of mind. So really ask yourself some hard questions, everyone out there. Hopefully you're not on social media too much. On some applications like Instagram, you can actually go under your activity to see how much time you're spending. I just did that actually because I was curious. Apparently in the past week, I've spent on average 12 minutes on Instagram. So I'm not on Instagram much, but I am on Twitter a lot, like I said, because I'm trying to create my own brand out there. But give it some consideration. On a more of a fun subject, that I wanted to talk about real quick before we get into crypto. I'm going to be doing something this weekend that I'm very much looking forward to. I'm going to be golfing. I'm going to be golfing on Sunday. Now, I have never done a full round of golf. I have actually done years ago, long time ago. I did chip and putt, which is a 3-par hole course. Every hole is a par 3. But I have a good buddy. He apparently golfs, enjoys golfing, and invited me out. He invited me out, so very much took him up on the offer. Looking forward to doing that on Sunday. Now, I do consider myself a coordinated athletic individual, and I can swing the golf club. I've gone driving. Like I said, I've done chip and putt, played sports back in the day, so I think I will do fairly well. Like, I'm confident. Believe me, I'm not arrogant, because I know at certain points during the day I'm going to make a fool of myself, but have fun, so who cares? But I'm going to rely on my friend to tell me which club to use. I told him this, and I'm going to reiterate. You need to let me know what club to use. But in either case, I don't care. I know he's going to kick my ass at golf. I could care less. I'm just looking forward to having some fun. So I'm doing that on Sunday. So very, very much looking forward to that. And the very, very last thing that I wanted to mention, a little bit of an announcement here. I don't have any. That's the only sound maker I have at my desk. So I'm still waiting for the crypto market to go up so I can use that. So for the first time on this podcast, 31 episodes in, I am going to have my first special guest. Yes. It's not Elon Musk. No, it's not Elon Musk. It's not the federal chairman Powell, so I can ask him about the money printing. No. It's not the president of the United States, who sleeps half of the day. That guy probably enjoys his naps. He probably naps a few times a day. No, it's my father. I'm actually looking. I texted him, had a conversation with him via text, and I felt that my dad, he's a very intelligent individual and very good with history. And I think that there's some current events, and we can bring it back to crypto and the financial markets. But I think my father is very well suited to have a good discussion with. So I am very much looking forward to that. So I'm going to try to get that figured out over the next few weeks here. So let's get into cryptocurrencies here. One of the things that I really wanted to hit on in today's podcast is a little bit of commentary on TA and the importance of it. It seems like way back in the day, but it really wasn't that long ago. Several years ago. Several years ago. I used to base my investment decisions 100%. It was all stocks, not crypto. I used to base 100% of my investment decisions on fundamentals. Okay, I didn't even know how to read a chart. If you put a chart in front of me, I wouldn't have known how to interpret it. But it's funny the way life works out. It really is funny if you're paying attention to clues and things that you're given and sort of challenge yourself, challenge your line of thinking, the way you can evolve as a thinker, okay? It's the only word I could think of at the moment. My line of thinking has evolved over time such that fundamentals do matter to me in the cryptocurrency space. My larger positions, the holy crypto trinity, my larger positions are influenced by the fundamentals. But at the end of the day, the bread and butter of what I do and how I allocate my resources are on the technicals. I've taken a total shift in my viewpoint on how to invest. And I know for people who can't read a chart or perhaps are not, we're all gifted. By the way, every single person is gifted in some way. And we are either more left-brained or right-brained. Okay, I am definitely more left-brained, right? So that's all the analytical and reasoning portion. Sometimes when I talk to people in everyday life outside of work, they're like, you're not at work, you do the actuary thing all day, talk to me like a real human being. So I get it, because I'm used to working with business professionals, as quirky as I might seem, or this whatever CryptoBullGod persona that I do. at the end of the day, I am a mathematician. That's really who I am. And so it makes sense to me that technical analysis would appeal to me. And the reason I bring all this up is there's a reason that technical analysis works. And one of the things, before I get into that, one of the things that people get caught up on is when someone out there charts something, and let's just remove all of the people out there that chart and are either not good at it, don't know what they're doing, or create hype. Let's talk about people that are actually very knowledgeable and create useful technical analysis views of various cryptocurrency projects. When they chart something and it doesn't go in the most likely direction, they get cynical and they say, TA doesn't work. It could go this way or it could go that way. What people miss when you make that sort of ignorant statement, and it really gets to me when people say that, and I just roll my eyes. What people miss is, how can you be so naive and ignorant to miss the fact that there are no certainties in life besides living and dying? The whole point behind technical analysis is to give you a leading indicator on what is most likely. What is most likely? Not what is, hear what I'm saying. What is most likely. I'm not saying certain. I'm not saying technical analysis tells you what's certain. It literally gives you a sheet of paper. Think of it this way visually. It gives you a sheet of paper and says this is most likely, this is possible, and this is least likely. Okay? But what makes up those probabilities? What makes up it being 70% probable, 20% maybe, and 10% not likely? What makes that up? Data points, all the outcomes of events that occur lead to those statistics, okay? And what people miss is technical analysis and nothing out there, no fundamental analysis you do, okay, results in 100% certainty. But data, the data that it accumulates over time within these charts leads to most likely and least likely price direction. So it makes total sense to me why I love technical analysis the way I do and why it is increasingly becoming such a strong passion in my life beyond the fundamentals that are associated with cryptocurrencies. And what I try to do on this channel and what I try to do on Twitter is I try to point out the charts that are most helpful in creating a story and creating a picture in your head in terms of the environment that we're in within cryptocurrency and where we're at within the overall cycle. Keep in mind, I've said this many times, you can have bearish price action within a bull market. Just to make this point crystal clear, okay, to an extreme, a bull market does not mean everything moves from $1 to $100 in a straight line. Come on, exercise some common sense. There's some stagnation, consolidation, and correction along the way. It goes from $1 to $10, back down to $6, up to $20, down to $15, up to $33. Okay, and if you get caught up in that micro granular perspective and you don't know what you're looking at from a technical view, from a technical analysis view, it can create a headache for you, and this is where you become emotional. So what I'm pointing out with the technicals, let's speak for a second on this ascending triangle that I've pointed out in Bitcoin. Again, for a moment, just please, if you can, seriously, and again, if you appreciate this content, drop a comment, share your thoughts with me, okay? During this segment, I'm talking about TA, share your thoughts with me. Hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. But just for the moment, humor me, okay? Because again, this is coming from somebody who used to just do fundamentals, no technicals, okay? And I know this sounds crazy. For a moment, forget about every world event going on right now. Forget about the war in Russia. Forget about the printing of dollars. Forget about the $30 trillion of debt of U.S. economy. Just forget about every single fundamental aspect of the world going on around you and just listen to what I'm saying about the chart. There is a very large pattern playing out in Bitcoin right now, what is known as an ascending triangle. An ascending triangle is essentially a pattern where there is a horizontal top, so there's a roof, okay, of resistance, and then there's an ascending line up. an ascending line up of higher lows, and it creates this triangular formation that I've shared on both YouTube and Twitter, okay? The reason that this formation exists is because historically, if you go back in the past and you look at all the charts of all these stocks and cryptos, this pattern, when it shows up, when an ascending triangle shows up, there's a most likely and least likely direction that price goes. Again, literally, forget about every fundamental thing you know. When this pattern, just looking at the chart, when this triangular formation shows up, history tells us when this has shown up in the past, and this is why we can rely on this formation, there is a most likely and least likely direction to price. So all I've been saying to you is, look, I'm not here to debate with you what your view of the economy is or the real world events. I'm not here to debate with you who's banning Bitcoin and who's not banning Bitcoin or what regulatory concerns you have. Just throw all that garbage out the window for a moment and listen to what I'm saying. In the chart, there is an ascending triangle. You can't argue with me on that. You can attempt to draw a different formation, fine. Draw a different formation. What I'm saying is the formation that I have drawn is extremely valid. There's nothing invalid about the formation I drew. Now, given that anyone who has a basic level understanding of TA agrees with me, they would know, okay, yes, this is an ascending triangle. Now what we can say is there's no certainty, but based on the fact that this formation is present, okay, because we're using past data to say, okay, when this formation has been present, 90% of the time it goes one way and 10% of the time it goes another way. What I'm saying is, and I don't know what the percentage breakdown is, but the most likely direction is that this formation will result in price going up. That's all I've been saying the whole time. I'm not a permabull. I'm not smoking hopium. I don't smoke anything. Full disclosure. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't smoke opium, and I'm not delusional. I'm actually a pretty logical individual that is simply using the data to tell me what is most and least likely. So whether you understand technical analysis or you don't understand technical analysis, allow me to provide factual information to educate you so that you can appreciate the likelihood of price direction. That's all I'm doing. I'm not guaranteeing you anything. I'm not telling you this is certain. What I'm saying is black and white data. This is why I love data. It's the way I'm wired as a human being, okay? I love the fact that a number is factual. There's nothing to interpret about it. 4 plus 4 is motherfucking 8, okay? I love math. And what the chart is telling me right now is until the pattern is negated, there is an ascending triangle, and history tells me that when an ascending triangle shows up, the most likely direction for price is up. And by the way, the ascending triangle is taking place on a large time frame, a weekly, a 2-week time frame. When you have that sort of pattern play out on a macro level, when you zoom out and you're looking at candlesticks that represent a week or 2 weeks worth of price action, it's that much more significant. It's that much more significant. I'm not looking at a 4-hour chart or a 30-minute chart. I'm literally looking at a weekly or 2-weekly chart. So every candlestick represents 1 week or 2 weeks worth of price action. And when you zoom out and you look at it on that perspective, there's a motherfucking ascending triangle. Okay, so I'm just giving you the most likely direction of price. And the last thing I'll say on TA, the one thing that really bothers me, and this even happens with channels that I have listened to in the past or that I currently listen to, something that really bothers me or I just roll my eyes at is there will be people who, they have a channel, okay, and large subscriber base, by the way, people who have a lot of followers on their YouTube channel. They don't understand TA. They poo-poo it. Okay, all they do is go over a bunch of news articles and give their thoughts and opinions, and they have 500,000 YouTube subscribers. But they'll go through and then they'll poo-poo technical analysis. And you know what bothers me about that? It's like someone taking a shit on my profession as an actuary, and they don't understand what I do. By the way, the whole reason that insurance companies are solvent is because they have actuaries. Yeah, the actuaries are the ones that can tell you how many claims that are going to be paid out in the future. So you can poo-poo the mathematics of actuarial science, but don't poo-poo on what it sounds pretty funny, right? Don't poo-poo. Don't poo-poo on what I do as an actuary just because you don't understand it. It works. It's math. The same thing is true about technical analysis. Just because you haven't taken the time to figure out and understand technical analysis, don't take a shit on it. And it bothers me when people do that. But then, here's the funny thing. When technical analysis works out, they'll use it to their benefit on their channel to increase volume on their channel. You know, and that sort of thing just bugs me. Stay in your lane. If you understand fundamentals and you can cover news articles and kind of speak to some fundamentals, talk to that. If you understand technicals, talk to that. But just stay in your lane, all right? Sorry, I was getting a little heated there. One other thing I wanted to talk to you real quick. It's not really technical related, but it's more so on the market sentiment. You know, someone who I do respect, I will make sure to give him a shout out when I release this podcast, Kevin Svenson. So if you don't follow him, his ticker symbol. Wow, you can tell I'm used to reading off crypto ticker symbols. His Twitter handle is at Kevin Svenson _ Svenson is SVENSON. Kevin Svenson _ I respect his technical analysis. I'm subscribed to his YouTube channel. I think he does a nice job. He said something recently that I disagreed with. So, and it's healthy to have disagreement, by the way. We all can't just agree with one another. He said, my investments are great. They will come back. That is the general consensus I am seeing all across crypto social media, if I'm being truthful about my sentiment analysis. So what he's saying is that people are essentially in denial right now. I did watch his I listened to it. I was kind of multitasking and making dinner. By the way, I'm having tuna steaks and either asparagus or broccoli this evening for dinner. Drop a comment on what you're having for dinner this evening. So I was multitasking, but I was listening to his channel, and he was saying we're in the denial stage, and I disagree. My view on things right now is the market, beyond being a little salty, I don't even think the market is super salty right now. It's salty, but my comments were that the market seems more bored and cynical, okay? And he actually agreed with me. He said boredom, cynicism, very true. That's literally me. So I appreciated his humor. But that's my read on the market right now. Now I want to tell you this. This is just a gut feel. This isn't analytical, okay? This is just my gut feel. I've been here again since like late 2017. Anytime the market has seemed super bored or cynical, it has literally been in a period where we've already bottomed. There's been accumulation going on, and then we've seen a massive move up. I saw it in 2019, and I saw it in 2020. Okay? So I'm not saying that I'm not saying that just because I have that same feeling today and it worked out in my favor or a bull's favor in the crypto market in 2019 and 20, it's happening again right now. But what I can tell you, the way I'm personally feeling right now is very similar to when we had our large move up in 2019 and 20. I feel like the market is very bored and getting cynical, and I think that's the time where there's going to be an unexpected move up in crypto. That's just my sense of things. One other thing before we get into the chart of the week. Another thing that actually came out of a conversation from Sunday. So I was with a good friend of mine and his fiance, and I've been at a point now where I've wanted to purchase a new vehicle. Okay, I said last year I was going to buy one, and it never happened, and blah blah blah. I have a 2001 Acura Integra. I love my car very much. And I just said, it's uncomfortable for me. It's uncomfortable for me to make a big purchase. It's not that I can't do it. I can very comfortably, and I'm very thankful. I'm not saying this to toot my own horn here. I'm just saying I can very comfortably go out and buy a nice car. I can, because I've been financially disciplined. I don't spend a lot of money on myself. I'm very conservative for the most part. I've been financially disciplined all my life. And one of the things that it made me think about was being financially responsible. One thing that I want you guys to think about, and maybe for the girls that are listening, the 0.01%, I know at least one woman who's listening to this. One of the things I want you guys to think about is really trying to find the best balance you can in life to make sure that you're setting yourself up for financial success in the future and also enjoying life today. I'm very thankful because the way my parents raised me, and it really more so came from my father, really, if I'm being honest. But my father really taught me to save. What I would say also is I think at times he was a little too conservative based on his upbringing, but and I can say that as an adult now looking at it. But to his credit, to his strong credit, he was very responsible. There was always bread on the table, always food on the table. We were always able to do things as kids, actively involved in sports and things like that. And we didn't have a lot growing up. But my parents made it happen because they were financially disciplined. So a lot that level of responsibility and that mindset has been passed on to me. And so what I've learned to do, I've had the same car for 21 years. I wear a Casio watch. Okay, I don't have a smartwatch. I wear a $20 Casio watch. Okay, so I'm very conservative or very frugal in certain areas, but I also know the importance of enjoying life and living in the moment and not being so uptight with your money that if you can't afford something, you don't do it. So I do like to travel, and I've traveled more in the past 5 years. So spending money on travel is something I enjoy doing and I can do and I want to continue to do. Spending money on my health and fitness, buying really good food, going out to nice dinners, those are things I enjoy. So what I do personally, what works for me is I don't pay any attention to the money that I spend if I go out to fine dining or when I go to the grocery store or for the most part when I'm traveling to do something nice. But at the same time, when I get a paycheck, I automatically know, okay, if I'm bringing in, for example, let's just use a round figure here to make this simplistic to illustrate the example. If I bring in $1,000, obviously this is not realistic. If I bring in $1,000 a month, okay, I already know right away what my bills are and then how much I have to save. So until my bills are paid and I've set aside what I want to save for the long term or whatever my investments are, it's not that I'm getting $1,000 a month. Maybe I'm getting like $300 a month. And 70% of that's out the door. I don't know what the percentage is. But the point is, if you want to set yourself up for financial success, it's not just about making the right investments. It's about having the right mindset. Not spending your money on things that you don't need, because that can get out of control. But also there's the opposite end of the spectrum, being so conservative that you don't enjoy today, not doing things that you don't enjoy. Maybe you enjoy music concerts, so you should go out and you should treat yourself. You should go to some concerts. Maybe you enjoy traveling like I do. You should go out and you should travel. Don't feel guilty about it. If you've worked hard all your life and you can afford it, go do it. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise if you can afford it. So it's really finding that right balance between affording the things you can do to live in the moment. Yes, it is healthy to live in the moment and enjoy today and spend money in that way, but also not to an extreme. To be able to save and have your investments allocated and diversified, that if there is a rainy day, you lose your job, whenever you do retire or become financially free, you're set up for that. So just something to think about. You really want to make sure that you're allocating your finances in the right way to set yourself up for success. So now let's get into the chart of the week. The chart of the week is Quant. This is something I tweeted about very recently. Ticker symbol QNT. This is something that I have recently, full disclosure, taken a position in. What I'm seeing right now, if you go on Twitter and follow me at CryptoBullGod, there is a descending line of resistance that I have drawn. And right now it looks like we're getting a rounding bottoming formation. So high level, what I would expect, and again, look at the chart I tweeted on, what I would expect is when we break out of the descending line of resistance, I'm looking right around $1.50, $1.55 to $1.65 once we really begin to push up. Now, we're currently sitting at about 112. Okay, I'm saying when we break the initial line of, when we break the line of descending line of resistance, I'm expecting an initial move up to around $155 to 165 before a pullback. That's around a 40% increase in price over where we're at today. So check out Quant Financial. It is ticker symbol QNT. Let me know your thoughts. Drop a comment. And now let's get into Twitter questions. Somebody on the Twitter questions just wants me to give good news. You can tell, okay, that I'm sorry you feel that way, sir. It sounds like desperation. Patience is the key, by the way. Patience is the key. So there's nothing that, unless literally my channel is falling apart, which I don't think is the case because I view the analytics, nothing speaks to the fact that there's more boredom in the market right now than the fact that I literally did not get any questions when I tweeted this out. That is the first time since I've been doing Twitter questions that I've gotten no questions. That is a first. So I can just tell, and I can appreciate it. By the way, I tweeted something out the other day joking about the fact that content creators are desperate at this point to put out any material. I'm never going to do that. But just joking at the fact that the market is so stagnant right now that there's not a lot to talk about, to be honest. So it doesn't surprise me there's no questions. So what I will actually do is I will go to messages, my DMs here, to see what I can answer here. So real quick thing on the DMs, okay? There are a lot of direct messages that I've received that I have not responded to. It is becoming increasingly difficult to reply to people. So just keep that in mind, that if you DM me, I'm not intentionally ignoring you. It's hard enough to keep up with everything else. I do not have the time, quite frankly, to respond to you. So let's get into some questions here. The first one I want to comment on, I want to let everyone know, one day when my content, my channel gets big enough, I would love to have affiliates that I agree with their messaging on or their product. But in no way, I want to let this be known, because I've received a couple messages on this. I'm not going to promote any crypto projects. I will not accept payment to promote any cryptocurrency projects. So the first question I'll answer, someone's asking me if I'm missing the action that existed in the bull market, essentially because we're in a bear market and I am full of hopium. No, I am not missing that one bit because we're still in a bull market. The only thing I miss is the CryptoBullGoddess, because she is in northern Florida and I'm in southern Florida, but we will fix that soon. So I shouldn't be sad about it, but that's the only thing on the spot I can think about that I'm sad about at the moment, but we will resolve that shortly. Next question. Someone's asking me to tweet about One. I've already charted tweets on One Harmony. There's no major concerns here. I'm just going to the most recent chart that I charted on. There's a descending line of resistance, sort of a bottoming out formation. I have these blue circles drawn. This is why it's important to follow me on Twitter. Once we break out, it looks like the next major area of resistance I'm looking at is around 18 cents, around the 17 to 18 cent area. The formation that exists in One is similar to the formation that exists in HBAR and probably several other cryptocurrency projects. So we just have to be a little bit patient here and wait for the market to turn around. I don't think there's anything else really outstanding here. So I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Drop a comment, hit the like button. I really hope you appreciated the content. So in closing, as always, please join me in a moment of silence for all of those I attempted on multiple occasions to get into crypto and have remained ignorant. Thank you.